You're scrolling Instagram at 2 in the morning, and everyone you know is living a better life than you. Your college roommate just bought a house. Your coworker who started the same week as you is driving a brand new Tesla. That guy from high school who you're pretty sure failed algebra is posting vacation photos from the Maldives. Again, and you're sitting here eating instant ramen wondering what you're doing wrong. You have a job. You're not spending like crazy. You're trying to save. But somehow everyone else seems to have figured out a cheat code you don't have access to. They're all winning and you're stuck. Here's what's really happening. You're not behind. You're just not seeing the full picture. That house your friend bought? Their parents gave them the down payment. The Tesla? It's leased, and they're one missed payment away from repo. The Maldives guy? He's $60,000 in credit card debt and can't sleep at night. But you don't see any of that. You see the highlight reel, the surface, the carefully curated version of their lives that they want you to believe. And you're comparing your entire messy reality to their polished fiction. The Instagram feed doesn't show the 3A. M. Panic attacks about money. It doesn't show the calls from debt collectors. It doesn't show the arguments with partners about spending. It shows the moment, the manufactured perfect moment. And your brain sees that moment and assumes their entire life looks like that. Today, I'm breaking down exactly why everyone seems to have more money than you, why that feeling is a complete illusion, and how the game is rigged to make you feel broke even when you're doing everything right. We're going deep on the psychological tricks, the hidden advantages people never mention, and the math that proves most people who look rich are actually drowning. Let's get into it. Here's the thing nobody tells you about wealth. It's invisible. Real money doesn't scream. It whispers. It sits in index funds and retirement accounts and boring savings accounts that nobody posts about. The stuff you see, the cars and the bags and the trips, that's not wealth. That's spending. And spending is the loudest thing in the world. It wants to be noticed. It needs validation. Because deep down, the people spending like that are either trying to convince you they're rich or trying to convince themselves. You know what actual wealthy people do? They drive 10-year-old Hondas. They wear normal clothes. They don't post their bank statements on social media. I know a guy worth 8 figures. You'd never know it. He lives in a modest house. He shops at Costco. He doesn't flex. Because he doesn't need to. His net worth does the talking, quietly, in the background, compounding while everyone else is busy performing. Meanwhile, the people who look rich, a lot of them are broke. They're financing everything, leasing the car, putting the vacation on a credit card, wearing last month's paycheck on their wrist. And the system loves this. The system is designed to make you feel poor, so you'll spend money trying to look rich. Banks want you in debt. Car companies want you leasing. Luxury brands want you financing. Because that's how they make money. Off your insecurity. Off your need to keep up. And social media pours gasoline on the fire. It shows you everyone's best moment and none of their struggle. You see the result, never the cost. The apartment, not the 3 roommates paying for it. The car, not the 7-year loan. The vacation, not the maxed out credit cards. And you're sitting there thinking you're the only one who's struggling. But you're not. According to the Federal Reserve, 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency with cash. 40%. Almost half the country is one car repair away from a crisis. But you'd never know it from Instagram. Because nobody posts about being broke. They post about being fine, about thriving, about living their best life. Even when they're drowning, even when they're one paycheck away from eviction, even when they're lying awake at night doing math in their head trying to figure out which bill to skip this month, the performance never stops. Because stopping means admitting the truth, and the truth doesn't get likes. If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. I'm breaking down the money lies that keep people stuck every single week. Real talk, no fluff, just the mechanics of how this actually works. Don't just watch and leave. Actually subscribe so you catch the next one. My name is Charles, and I'm obsessed with how money actually works. Not the fantasy version you see online, the real version. The mechanics behind who builds wealth and who just looks like they have it. I've spent years studying why some people break through while most people stay stuck in the same financial loop forever. On this channel, we talk about the systems and incentives that nobody explains until it's too late. The hidden games. The tricks that make you feel broke even when you're not. The psychological warfare that companies and influencers wage on your wallet every single day. Everything I share here is for education and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you personal financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. If you need specific guidance, talk to a licensed professional. I'm just here to show you how the game works, so you stop feeling like you're losing when you're actually playing it better than most people. Now let's break this down piece by piece. The first reason everyone seems richer than you is simple. You're judging books by their covers, and covers lie. Covers are designed to lie. That's literally their entire purpose. Let me give you an example. Two people, same salary, same job, same city. Let's say they both make $70,000 a year. One drives a 2021 Toyota Corolla, paid $25,000 for it, financed it over 5 years. Car payment is $424 a month. Add insurance, gas, maintenance, they're spending about $600 a month total on transportation. Their goal is to own the car outright in 5 years and then never have a car payment again. Boring. Responsible. Unsexy. The other person drives a 2025 BMW. Looks way more expensive. Looks like they're making double the salary. Looks like they got promoted 3 times while you were stuck in the same role. But here's the reality. They're leasing it. The payment is $459 a month. Sounds close to the Corolla, right? Almost the same monthly cost. But they had to put down $4,000 at signing. Money they'll never see again. The lease is only 3 years, so they have to give the car back and start over. They don't own anything. Insurance is way higher because it's a luxury car, and the lease requires full coverage. Gas costs more because it needs premium. And at the end of 3 years, they're back at the dealership, signing another lease, putting down another chunk of cash, restarting the cycle. They will never own a car. They will always have a payment. Forever. But on the surface, they look way richer. The Corolla driver looks modest, responsible, maybe even struggling. Like they couldn't afford anything better. The BMW driver looks successful. Like they've made it. Like they're climbing the ladder while everyone else is stuck. But dig one layer deeper and the Corolla driver is building equity and the BMW driver is renting a lifestyle they can't afford. This happens everywhere, not just with cars. The person in the luxury apartment? They have 4 roommates you never see in the photos. They're paying $1,800 a month to live in a place that costs $6,500 total. But they post photos of the rooftop pool and the lobby and you think they're balling. The one with the designer bag? It's last season, bought on sale, financed over 6 months on a credit card at 22% interest. They're paying $400 for a bag that costs $250. The guy with the Rolex? It's fake. Or it's real and he's eating rice and beans for the next year to pay it off. Or he bought it on a payment plan and he's underwater on it and he'll never admit that to anyone. You have no idea what someone's actual financial situation looks like. You're seeing a snapshot, a performance, a curated image that was designed to make you feel inadequate. And you're comparing your behind-the-scenes struggle, all the bills and the stress and the trade-offs, to their highlight reel. That's not a fair fight. And it's designed to make you feel inadequate so you'll go spend money trying to catch up. So you'll lease the car you can't afford. Finance the bag. Book the trip on a credit card. Because if you don't, you'll feel like you're falling behind. Here's another thing. Spending habits are invisible depending on what you spend on. If you spend money on experiences, travel, concerts, investing, nobody sees it. If you spend money on things, cars, clothes, jewelry, everyone sees it. So who looks richer? The person with the things. Even if the person with the experiences is actually living a fuller life and building more wealth. Let's say you invest $500 a month. You go to concerts. You travel twice a year. You have memories and a growing investment account. Your mental health is good. You're building skills. You're living. Your friend spends $500 a month on clothes and accessories and getting their hair done and maintaining an image. Who looks like they have more money? Your friend. Every single time. Even though you're building actual wealth and they're building a closet full of stuff that'll be worthless in 2 years, the visibility of spending creates an illusion. And that illusion makes you think everyone else is ahead when they're just spending differently, maybe worse, definitely more visibly. According to Bain & Company, a huge portion of luxury goods are purchased by younger people using credit cards. Generation Z and millennials are driving luxury sales, not because they're rich, not because they have trust funds, because they're financing the appearance of being rich. They're paying interest to look successful, literally paying extra money for the privilege of looking like they have money. And it works. You see the bag. You don't see the balance. You see the watch. You don't see the debt. You see the outfit. You don't see the credit card statement with the minimum payment circled in red. And you assume they're doing better than you. But they're not. They're just better at performing. They've mastered the art of looking rich while being broke. And that performance is so convincing that it makes you question your own choices. Makes you think maybe you should be spending more. Maybe you should be financing things. Maybe you're doing it wrong. But you're not. They are. Let me tell you about 2 people. We'll call them Vanessa and Colin. Both of them make $70,000 a year. Both of them live in the same city, same rent prices, same cost of living, same opportunities. But their lives look completely different. Vanessa loves to look successful. She needs people to think she's made it. She drives a leased Audi, $475 a month. Put down $3,000 at signing. She wears designer clothes. Not all the time, but enough that people notice. Gets her nails done every 2 weeks. Hair done once a month. She goes out to expensive brunches and posts them all on Instagram. The mimosas. The avocado toast. The aesthetic. People look at Vanessa and think she's crushing it. She looks like she makes 6 figures. She looks like she has it all figured out. But here's the reality. Vanessa has $18,000 in credit card debt spread across 4 cards. She has $700 in savings. She's stressed all the time. She can't cover an emergency. If her car breaks down, she's screwed. If she loses her job, she's got maybe 3 weeks before eviction. And she's trapped in a cycle where she has to keep spending to maintain the image she's created. Because if she stops, people will notice. They'll ask questions. They'll wonder what happened. And that terrifies her. So she keeps spending, keeps posting, keeps performing, even though it's killing her financially and mentally. Now let's talk about Colin. Colin drives a 2015 Honda Civic, paid off, no car payment, owns it outright. He spends money on experiences, concerts, trips, things that matter to him. Not things that photograph well. He invests $400 a month into a retirement account. Boring index funds. Nothing sexy. He has $12,000 in an emergency fund sitting in a high-yield savings account. Nobody looks at Colin and thinks he's rich. He's not flashy. He doesn't post about his life. He's boring on paper. His Instagram is random photos of hikes and concerts and dinners with friends. Nothing curated. Nothing designed to impress. But Colin sleeps at night. He has options. He's not stressed about money. He's building wealth slowly and quietly while Vanessa is building an Instagram feed and a pile of debt. 10 years from now, Colin will have over $80,000 invested, assuming modest 7% returns. Vanessa will still be paying off the Audi she doesn't even own anymore. She'll still be carrying credit card debt. She'll still be stressed. Same salary. Same city. Same starting point. Completely different outcomes. One person chose to look rich. The other chose to be stable. And the one who looks rich is broke. Completely, totally broke. That's the illusion. That's the trap. You see Vanessa at brunch and think you're behind. You see her car and think she's winning. But you're not behind. You're just not playing the same game. And her game ends badly. It always does. Here's the math on why this matters. Let's say you're 30 years old. You make $70,000 a year. You invest $400 a month into a retirement account. Boring. Unsexy. Nobody's going to congratulate you for it. Nobody's going to like your post about maxing out your Roth IRA. Over 30 years, assuming a 7% average annual return, which is conservative based on historical stock market performance, you'll have about $480,000. That's not retire on a yacht money, but it's financial security. It's options. It's freedom. It's the ability to retire at 60 and not work until you die. Now let's say instead of investing that $400 a month, you spend it on looking successful. Car payment. Upgraded apartment. Designer stuff. Nicer dinners. Better vacations. All the things that make you look like you're winning. At the end of 30 years, you have nothing. Zero. You spent almost $500,000 on lifestyle and you're starting from scratch at 60. You have to keep working. You can't retire. You're trapped. Same income. Same time period. One path leads to financial security and freedom. The other leads to an Instagram feed full of memories and a bank account full of nothing. The people who look rich in their 20s and 30s are often completely broke in their 50s and 60s. The people who look boring in their 20s and 30s are often comfortable and free later. Because wealth is built slowly. In the dark, with no applause, no likes, no validation. And spending is fast, loud, with lots of attention and lots of regret. You're choosing which game to play every single day. Every time you decide whether to invest or spend, whether to save or flex, whether to build wealth or build an image. Now, here's the part that really twists the knife. A lot of the people you think are rich didn't earn it. They inherited it. Or their family is supporting them. And they're never going to tell you that. They're going to let you assume they're self-made, that they hustled, that they're just better at money than you. You see someone in their 20s living in a luxury apartment in an expensive city. You assume they have an amazing job, some high-powered role at a tech company or finance firm. Maybe they do. Or maybe their parents are paying half the rent and they just don't mention it. You see someone driving a Range Rover at 25. You think they're a founder or made a lucky investment, or got promoted fast. Or maybe their parents bought it for them as a college graduation gift. Or maybe it's a hand-me-down from a family member. You don't know. And they're not going to volunteer that information because it ruins the story. It ruins the image. It makes them look less impressive. According to research on wealth transfer and family support, a significant amount of wealth in younger demographics comes from family money. Down payments on houses that they claim they saved for, seed money for businesses that they say came from their own savings, monthly allowances that never get mentioned, silent partners named mom and dad. These people aren't more successful than you. They're not smarter. They're not better at money. They just started 20 yards ahead in a 100-yard race. And the race looks different when you don't see where everyone started. You see someone cross the finish line and you think they're fast. But they only ran 80 yards while you're running the full 100. This doesn't mean they didn't work hard. It just means they had a head start that you didn't. And comparing yourself to someone with a head start is pointless. It's self-torture. You're running different races. They might have more money, but they might also have more emotional baggage, more family pressure, more strings attached to every dollar, more expectations they have to live up to. You don't know what's happening behind the curtain. What phone calls they're taking, what conditions came with the money. So, stop measuring your mile 3 against someone else's mile 10 when they started at mile 7. Here's the really dark part. The people with actual money, the ones who are genuinely wealthy, they don't show it, they don't post it, they don't perform it, they're invisible. I met a guy once worth over $100 million, self-made. Built and sold 2 companies. He wore cargo shorts and a polo shirt, drove a normal sedan. looked like someone's dad on the way to Home Depot. You would never know. Because people with real money don't need you to know. They're secure. They're private. They keep it quiet. They're not on Instagram. They're not flexing. They're not trying to impress anyone. The flashiest people are usually the brokest. Because they need the validation. They need you to think they're winning. They need the likes and the comments and the attention, because that's the only return they're getting on their spending. Real wealth is silent. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need applause. It compounds quietly in the background while everyone else is busy performing for strangers on the internet. And that's the trick social media plays on you. It shows you the performers, the ones spending money to look rich, the ones leasing and financing and going into debt for content. And it hides the ones who actually are wealthy, the ones living below their means, the ones investing, the ones building real security. You're comparing yourself to people who are faking it and feeling bad because you're not faking it as well as they are. You're feeling inadequate because you're not as good at pretending. That's insane. That's literally insane. But that's what the system wants. It wants you insecure. It wants you chasing. It wants you spending. So here's your playbook. Step 1. Stop comparing yourself upwards. You only compare yourself to people who have more, never to people who have less. That's a rigged game. It's designed to make you miserable. If you want perspective, think about the billions of people who don't have clean water or reliable food or a safe place to sleep. Suddenly, your life looks pretty good. You're not behind. You're ahead of most of the planet. You have opportunities most people will never have. Step 2. Focus on skills and growth, not titles or appearances. Job titles are meaningless. A VP at one company is a manager at another. A director at a startup is an associate at a big firm. Startups inflate titles to keep people around without paying them more. Don't measure your progress by what someone else is called. Measure it by what you're learning and whether you're moving toward your goals. Are you gaining skills? Are you growing? Are you better than you were last year? That's what matters, not what your friend's LinkedIn says. Step 3. Ignore social media wealth. All of it. Assume everyone is faking. Assume every photo is staged. Assume every flex is financed. Because most of it is. Studies show that people who spend more time on social media report higher levels of financial anxiety and lower levels of financial satisfaction. It's literally making you feel poor, so stop looking. If you need inspiration, find it somewhere else. Not from people performing success online. Step 4. Spend on what matters to you, not what's visible. If you love travel, travel. If you love investing, invest. If you love concerts or books or experiences, spend there. Don't spend money to impress people who don't care about you. Build the life you want, not the one that photographs well, not the one that gets likes, the one that makes you happy when nobody's watching. Step 5. Remember that wealth is built slowly. Nobody gets rich quick unless they get lucky, or they're lying. And luck isn't a strategy. The boring path works. Saving, investing, avoiding debt, living below your means, maxing out retirement accounts. It's not sexy. It doesn't make for good content. But it works. It's worked for decades. It'll keep working. Step 6. Understand that some people started ahead. And that's fine. You can't control where you started. You can only control where you go. Run your own race. Focus on your pace, your progress, your path, not theirs. Here's the thing about feeling behind. It's a feeling, not a fact. Feelings lie. Feelings are manipulated by what you see and what you're exposed to. You feel behind because you're comparing your reality to everyone else's highlight reel. But if you could see the full picture, the debt, the stress, the family money, the leases, the credit cards, the sleepless nights, the arguments, the fear, you'd realize most people are struggling just like you. They're just better at hiding it. better at performing, better at pretending everything's fine when it's not. The difference between people who build wealth and people who perform wealth is simple. One group cares about the scoreboard. The other group cares about the score. The scoreboard is what everyone sees. The car, the apartment, the clothes, the trips, the lifestyle. The score is what actually matters. Net worth, savings, investments, financial security, peace of mind, options. You can win the scoreboard and lose the score. That's called being broke with stuff. Lots of people do this. They look rich and they're drowning. Or you can ignore the scoreboard and win the score. That's called being wealthy in private. Most people pick the scoreboard because it feels good, because it gets likes, because it makes them feel successful even when they're not, because the validation is immediate and the consequences are delayed. But the scoreboard is a trap. It keeps you spending. It keeps you stressed. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of trying to impress people you don't even like with money you don't have. The score is boring. It's invisible. Nobody's going to congratulate you for maxing out your retirement account. Nobody's going to throw you a party for hitting 6 months of expenses in your emergency fund. But in 20 years, you'll be free. You'll have options. You'll be able to make choices based on what you want, not what you can afford. And the people who won the scoreboard will still be working to pay off the car they don't even drive anymore. They'll still be stressed. Still be stuck. Still be performing. If this changed how you see money, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm exposing the systems and lies that keep people feeling broke every single week. Don't just watch. Actually subscribe so you don't miss what's next. This is the stuff that actually matters. The stuff that changes your entire financial trajectory if you pay attention. Comment below and tell me, what's the biggest financial flex you've seen that you know was probably fake? Let's talk about it. Because the more people who understand this game, the fewer people fall for it. The fewer people go into debt trying to impress strangers. The fewer people waste their 20s and 30s chasing an image instead of building security. You're not behind. You're just not playing the same game as the people who look like they're winning. And that's a good thing, because their game ends in debt and stress and regret. It ends with them at 55 realizing they have nothing saved and can't retire. It ends with panic and fear and desperation. Your game, if you play it right, ends in options and freedom and peace. It ends with you at 55, looking at your net worth and realizing you can do whatever you want, work because you want to, not because you have to, travel without checking your bank account first, help your kids without going into debt, live without constant financial anxiety. See the difference. Stop comparing. Build your score, not your scoreboard. Focus on what actually matters. And remember, the people who look the richest are often the brokest. The ones who look boring are often the ones building real wealth. Be boring. Be invisible. Be wealthy. I'll see you in the next one.